Good morning. You're watching news updates here on TVRI World. I'm Rahmat Idris. We come to you live from Nusa Dua, Bali, Indonesia, in conjunction with the third finance ministers and central bank governors meeting of the G20 under Indonesia's presidency. And the third finance ministers and central bank governors, or Fmcbg meeting, is indeed held on the heels of the second one a while ago in Washington, D.C., the USA. And earlier this year, they kicked off with the first meeting of Fmcbg in the capital, Jakarta. In retrospect, these meetings throughout the years have been largely discussing on the global concerted efforts towards economic recovery post the COVID-19 pandemic and all the financing structures behind it. However, throughout the course of the years, added to it the geopolitical tensions and the ongoing war in Ukraine, these unfolding events have exacerbated the efforts, the progress towards the global economic recoveries. So these finance ministers and the central bank governors from across the G20 member states have sort of come together, find a common grind to come and see where they start from here to find a faster way, initiative to sort of accelerate the efforts towards global economic recovery. And if we also look back on all the entire agenda for the third finance ministers and central bank governors meeting here in Nusa Dua, Bali, Indonesia, it is clear that these finance ministers have also touched on the many aspects as support systems towards the main global economic recovery homework here. And here in Bali Nusa Dua Convention Center, as the main compounds of the meeting itself, plenty of deliberations around it have been held. The third meeting itself is scheduled to open tomorrow morning with all finance ministers, be it in person or virtual, will be attending. And today, the deputy ministers meeting and the other many meetings also be taking place across the many halls here in Bali Nusa Dua Convention Center. So we're awaiting for further updates from the main venue for tomorrow's final preparations of the meeting for the finance ministers and central bank governors meeting. In the meantime, the day today has started with our very own Minister of Finance, Sri Mulyani, talking to some distinguished and esteemed finance ministers and central bank governors from the invited member states as well, beyond the G20 member states, talking about the issues of energy transitions and climate change. Well, if you can see that behind me, the ongoing meeting at the moment is the second big topic of the day, which is on the cross-border payment. But we'll talk on that a little bit more as the meeting is currently ongoing and in progress. So early in the morning, the so-called breakfast meeting of these finance ministers, which saw the live participations or the in-person participations of the Minister of Finance of the Republic of Indonesia, Sri Mulyani, and also the Minister of Finance, pardon me, of India, and also the finance ministers of South Africa and some others who took part virtually in the meeting. So these leaders have been talking uh, particularly strongly from our very own ministers to urge all of these member states within the G20 and even beyond for the invited ones to sort of come together, find a stronger policy uh, to battle against the climate change. And the way to do this is to start the ongoing cold phase transition. The so-called transitions means that there is this agreement within the member states of the G20 to sort of shorten the lifespan of the non-renewable energy plants, meaning that those plants using coals and using other source of fossil fuels, for example. So these are non-renewable energy plants that will be shortened in terms of its lifespan, projecting the years 2030 to 2050. And in the meantime, while doing the shortening lifespan of these infrastructures, more and advanced technologically newer power plants which are environmentally friendly and also coming from renewable energy sources will be further explored, established, researched, and also be implemented across the globe, probably within the G20 first in developed nations, followed by the developing economies afterwards. So these initiatives must be taken as it is immediately as it is considered as an opportunity to expand the industries of renewable energy. And this will be an opportunity to open up a plethora of jobs for people across the globe, and also one of the ways to speed up economic recoveries through the pandemic. And all of these finance ministers from the member states and also the central bank governors have agreed upon the so-called financing mechanism to support all the necessary financials burden that will and the costs that excuse me that will incur uh, throughout the process of development of these plans. Apologies, please. And coming to that, there was also some hot debates and discussions on how these countries who have their own central bank regulations would find the common ground to support and find the common mechanisms to go forward with this. So that's something that we look forward to be finalized within the third finance ministers and central bank governors that will be taking place later on in the week. So that's something to look forward to. And Minister of Finance of the Republic of Indonesia has also conveyed to the public that throughout the plans of the infrastructure, Minister of Finance of the Republic of Indonesia, Sri Mulyani, will also be in close communications with IMF as the leader of the entire project and also the infrastructures towards the energy transitions and the financing systems. And some of the key focuses there will be on the building and on the research of the power plants powered by hydro and also wind. So we'll bring you more a news update right here from Nusa Dua, Bali on the deliberations of these finance ministers, all the side events, and most importantly, the main event tomorrow from Bali. In the meantime, I'm Rahmat Idris, and that concludes our news updates for this hour. Thank you, and bye-bye.